So, do you have questions about anything from this session?
So Donna talked about shopping and falling toward different foods in the grocery store. So maybe if I shop on Monday, will it still be the same result when I want to cook it on Wednesday?
Oh my, that's quite a question, and nobody's ever asked me that before. But I will tell you, that is an issue because you might change. And I've certainly had that problem. I scoop up so many things that I think my body needs, and it tastes so strong that day. But boy, the next day, it may not want that at all and may not need it in my body. So I've learned to not grocery shop for a week. I grocery shop every couple of days, you know.
But also there's many foods that will not vary, you know, that they're going to be good for you all the time. It's more unusual that there's something that is, you know, like if you test strong on cashews and you eat a pound of cashews, you're probably not going to be wanting your body's not going to be wanting cashews for a while. But so it's the balances that we're talking about. And by the way, they also happen at different times of the day. Like Donna cannot do the great American breakfast of eggs in the morning, but she's fine with eggs later on in the day. She's also much better with eggs that are grass-fed, homegrown kinds than kinds that have hormones in them. So you really learn what your body resonates with.
Okay, so you were talking about energy testing for shoes, but at the beginning of this course, I also heard your story that you told about how you were wearing shoes and how you used a spoon to help with the healing for that. So how do you know if it's the shoes themselves that you maybe aren't aligning with, or whether you just need to do the spoon exercise?
Well, first of all, spooning the feet is always good for your feet because there are things that can throw you off and throw your polarities off. You will never do any harm to yourself if you want to spoon your feet. It's really good for you.
So bring your spoon to the shoe store.
Yeah.
And then I have a follow-up question, which is, so is it unique to that shoe, or is it the material? Which means if there's a material of that shoe that I test weak on, does that mean that I can't handle any shoe of that variety that has that same material?
Usually not. Usually it's the way that the fit of the shoe is interacting with your foot. So that's what's most likely to cut off the energy.
How your foot is held.
Yeah, how your foot is held. Sometimes it'll be the material, but not usually.
So with jewelry then, is it material? Like I can wear everything of a stone that I test strong for, whether it's on my neck or on my finger?
Depending on the setting.
Usually, let me just say usually. I've known where we lived for many, many years and still feel like it's our home, Ashland, Oregon, there are many estate sales. And sometimes you'll get a piece of jewelry or something that, oh my gosh, it carries the energy of the person who wore it. And it can really do you in until you've cleaned that energy. So it just depends. But usually, here's another thing. I will find a stone, I say everything there is the same stone. I'm just going to use a fluorite because fluorite is really good for me. But often there's only one that so energetically goes with my body and won't. None of the other fluorites will. And I can't explain it except it's a different energy. It's a different energy and I want it to resonate with me.
So I was thinking of the situation, say your friend invites you over for dinner and they make something and it's, you know, they put a lot of love into it, but when you energy test, it's just not right for you. Is there a technique you could use to sort of counteract any negative effects of eating that food while still showing your gratitude for it?
If you know that you just gotta make that your hostess feel wonderful, then you want to tap spleen meridian before you ever eat it, and afterwards again, because it'll help you metabolize it. It's very interesting. I saw a program where somebody was using energy testing on television, and it was somebody who loved cooking so much and loved giving her gift of food to people. and it showed that, I mean, she used the cheapest foods. I mean, she didn't have any money for food, and yet that food, everybody just did so great. And also they energy tested it, and it was really good for everybody. And so I think if you pour love into your food, it is much, much better. I've got a long story that I'll make very short, is that years ago, a man came to my class. I had a weekly class, and he came every week, but he came late and he left early, and I didn't know why, and he never took place in the class. People were doing all sorts of work on each other, and he didn't. But one day, the class had only one more week, and I grabbed him before he left the class to find out if he was getting anything out of the class, because he wasn't doing anything in the class. And his story basically is that he had a very good job and a family, and long story short, he lost everything, and his family left as well. And he had to take a little tiny place behind a 7-Eleven store. And so the only food he could eat were the packaged foods in a little tiny market, a 7-Eleven. And he knew it wasn't good for him, but he didn't have the money or the strength to go anywhere. And he didn't have a car. That's why he came late and left early. He always had to take the bus. And I said, okay, no problem. You've got no problem. Here's what you're going to do with that food. You're going to place it in front of you. And first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a pyramid over that food and just bless it. Really bless that food and know that it's going to serve you well. And then you can do a little chakra clearing over it, as if this whole energy field, whatever isn't really good for you, you're going to move it on out and then put that back in, and now know that, wow, this is for sure. And he came back. We had a break between seeing each other for 3 months, and he came back. He'd gained about 15 pounds. He felt so good, and he took part in the class after that, and it was just, I mean, he knew what happened.
So hard as that might be for some of you to believe, that act actually did something for his body, for his metabolism, so that he was able to absorb that food. He was able to digest that food, and we're not really advocating getting all your meals at 7-Eleven. So be thinking about your questions from this session and put them up on the tribe and get discussions going about it up on the tribe. It's a great resource to have.
Now, we understand that a lot of you have signed up for this course because of pain, wanting to know ways to alleviate your pain. And we're going to address that in the next session.
So now we have the treat again of Titania and Energy Medicine Dance.